Hello, I'm Dr. CDCS, and this is Nighthawks. This is the Night 1 demo, and it was just put out during the Steam Next Fest event that's going on right now at the time of this recording. This is a adventure slash RPG in the style of a visual novel where you play as a vampire, and it's an upcoming release from the Curiosity Engine and being published by Jedi Games. I actually was part of the Kickstarter for this, and I'm glad that they put out a demo. I'm really excited to try this out and see what y'all think of it. So let's take a look at it right now. A link to the game will be available in the Steam description below. So if you're interested in trying it out yourself, check it out, because I don't think I'll be playing the whole demo, but there should be enough to give you an idea of what the game is like. Here are the settings, by the way, for the game. I left everything on default, and hopefully the audio capture between the game audio and my mic is balanced better. This is actually the second time I'm doing this recording, because the first time I did it, played an hour's worth, stopped recording, listened to it, and immediately realized that the audio was completely unbalanced. So I'm hoping that this is better. We'll only find out once I finish. And I mean, it looks good on the mixer right now. But yeah, so we have our audio settings, which I'm going to leave untouched. We also have voice dialogue, which does run automatically. You can change it if you want. Yeah, pretty straightforward settings. Let's begin the demo. "6 months ago, you died. The story of your life is yours to celebrate, mourn, or forget. This is the story of your death." So, what we have here is our character creation, and it's pretty interesting, the options you have available to you. What is your name? This may not have been your name in life, but it is the name that you will now wear. All else is your business, casting as much or as little light on your path as you choose. So you can randomly generate your own name if you want, to be within the world, in-game, I guess, world, and for it to make sense. But you know, you gotta have a name that stands the test of time. Alongside the name of Nosferatu, we gotta have a name that inspires and chills other vampires to their bones. And we're obviously gonna pick Chief Beef. This is who I am. Let's go. A pleasure to make your acquaintance. Likewise. Everything began with the stranger. They took you into their life and then took yours. Their blood now runs through your veins, and you carry their memory in your flesh. But who were they? Well, we have a number of options we can pick here. These have their own advantages, so let's start from left to right. Start with the scholar. The wisdom of centuries stalking through a labyrinth of dusty tomes. You learn much under their rarely patient tutelage, in padded safety that was at best a prison and at worst a cage. So you develop skills at a greatly increased rate. We also have the hedonist, passion and torture, love and depravity. They delighted in testing your every limit and teasing your conscience past them until nothing remained but a hunger for even greater excess. If we pick the hedonist, we'll be immune to the effects of tainted blood, which would otherwise greatly limit you until it wears off. We also have the warrior, an iron soul forged into a blade by centuries of strife. Their training would have you killed, had such mercy been more than a memory, but you emerge stronger than you ever thought possible. So you can wield any weapon like an expert. We have the aristocrat, a wolf amongst sheep, the privilege of wealth and power sharpened to the finest point. For a while you wanted for nothing. Then, just as quickly, your novelty faded and left behind nothing but obligation. So we can develop suspicion at a greatly reduced rate. And finally, the shadow. A drifter, a rumor. They move from town to town, fading like a bad memory. Why did they choose to bring you along? That was their secret to know, just as yours is why you parted ways. So your hunting skills are unmatched amongst your peers. So during my previous run, I did pick the warrior, so I'll pick the warrior again. You can wield any weapon like an expert. So that's our first choice. Now we get to pick our lineage. Your new lineage is one of pain and potential stretching back centuries from the darkest legends of every corner of the world where people have had cause to fear the night. What is its story? So we can be either New World, children of the night who see their past in modern fables and Hollywood lore. Particularly prevalent in the United States, they combine ancient power with modern technology better than most. So you gain more benefit from your companion's skills. Or it could be Old Country. An echo of tragedy from the depths of dark forests and forbidding swamps, the victims of long-dead horrors still carry the blood of their murderers, condemned to pass it to each new generation. There are few you cannot intimidate with your presence. Imperial. Hailing from the alchemical heritage of Britain, the original Imperials whispered in the ears of nobility and traveled throughout the empire on their black ships, leaving tragedy in their wake. As an Imperial, gain wealth and prestige at a greatly increased rate. Or we could be continental. From the eternal dynasties of Europe to the solitary loners of quiet peasant hamlets, continental vampires are known for their ability to move through human society with both ease and arrogance. You are an expert at seduction and manipulation. So that's also a choice. And finally, Mandarin. Magic flows in your veins, supposedly the legacy of Jiangxi sorcery from ancient China, although some object to that interpretation. Legends speak of a great sacrifice that all who share it must one day make. And your natural talent allows you to use your gift more regularly. So, I don't exactly remember which one I picked during the first playthrough. I might have been Imperial, actually. You gain wealth. I mean, it doesn't really matter. We'll just pick it. Everybody knows that vampiric powers are a myth, propaganda, fantasy. Everybody is wrong, as you learn shortly after your awakening. But what new power waited on the edge of possibility? So, we have, starting from left to right, mesmerism. You wield the puppet strings of hypnosis and domination. Weaker minds are yours to command, to a point. The effect soon wears off, and even they balk at actions too contrary to their nature. So other vampires would be immune to this. Or we could do corpse talking. Dead men tell no tales? That depends on how you ask. Echoes of life linger around corpses and scenes of trauma. You know their language and can call upon them for their secrets. This enables you to witness echoes of trauma and the recently deceased. Or we can pick the beast within. Something claws at your soul, begging to be let off the leash. When freed, you feel your bones cracking, sharpening, reshaping, taking you to a primal perfection and beyond. So you'll have a chance to automatically turn the tide of losing battles. Rats, cockroaches... Oh, so Natural Dominion is the next one. Rats, cockroaches, spiders, flies, the denizens of the night flock to your call and obey your orders. Cats, of course, keep their own counsel and will not be swayed by a mere vampire. This can also allow you to see through your minion's eyes. And finally, we have Tenebrian form. Shadows are your cloak. You can shift into darkness at will, to evade your enemies or transcend the limits of physical flesh. It is a power that few have even heard of, let alone mastered. So light is the natural enemy of Shadowmancers. So here are 5 options we could pick. I believe I picked Corpse Talking. But given what I know of how the demo plays out, I kind of want to try something else. Because there wouldn't be enough time for me to... I don't think there's enough time for me to find one. Maybe... other vampires are immune to me. This may be kind of interesting. Or the Beast Within. We'll pick... we'll try this one. Mesmerism. Life and death taught you many things, but what is your primary sphere of knowledge? So, culture. You're well versed in all of the arts, from painted masterpieces to classic opera. Perhaps you've been known to create your own works. or even been known to create your own works and earn a measure of acclaim. Technology, from scientific discoveries to fixing computers, there is little in the modern world you cannot master, or at least turn off and again until it works. Academia. You always excelled in scholarly pursuits, including history, geography, and world languages. Somewhere your achievements hang upon a wall as a testimony to all that your teachers had to impart. And finally, street. You have learned the language of the gutter and the lessons of experience. You hear the unspoken words of the street and know all of the steps of its complex dance. And finally, occult. What others consider forbidden arts, you think of as light reading. You may or may not have picked up much of the practical, but your mind is a codex of stolen secrets. Let's see. I think I picked technology. So this time... And you know what? We'll try technology again. Yeah. So very well, these are the cards that fate has dealt you. Do you accept them? Do I want Imperial? The Warrior Imperial, let's just change our origin one quick. Just real quick. Let's just take a look at the Imperial again. Wealth and prestige. There are few you cannot intimidate with your presence. Let's try this one. Old country. Intimidation. We're a warrior who likes to intimidate. We can probably do something more with this, and we're good with tech. This is who I am in the dark. Alright. Then let us begin. I had to click that. And here's the game prologue. A Second Life. I'm going to try to keep this video at about an hour, so we probably won't be able to see the entire demo. But here we are, streets of Cradlebridge. It's Monday, and it's the small hours. And this is the interface for the game. It's actually pretty straightforward, and I mean, for me, it feels like it's pretty easy to understand. So, here, and also, neat little thing is that this little guy here, he helps you with your tutorial. You can turn him off if you want, but if you hover over things, he'll tell you what they are. So this is blood, so fighting, using gifts, minding your own business. It'll make a corpse real thirsty. And this would be this green goo of your new life there, pal. Resting will heal you up and good and proper. So these little gems here, you're young, so still learning your gift. Every time burns blood, and these gems show how many more times you can use it tonight. Be careful though, every time your hunger goes up. So yeah, we have a hunger and a suspicion meter. So this is, I believe, suspicion. We call that suspicion. Makes it harder to bullshit and maybe other problems. Get arrested with too much and your time in the city is done. And we also have hunger. Think of it as the predator growling somewhere in that cold corpse of yours, longing to hunt and feel fresh blood on your fangs. Bottled stuff won't keep it under control forever. Those are settings, and nothing for these three. But yeah, this also tells us, I think, how much money we have. Yeah, and this is also our phone, which has a good, I think it contains our lore and our quest log, contact list, a bunch of things, and our stat sheet. Very cool stuff. You can click on this to get more details about the stat if you want. Seems to be quite a few things to keep track of. And I believe you might get bonuses based on companions. I think especially with one of the traits that you pick, you can actually get some additional bonuses depending on how many companions you have, or the type of companion you have. I don't know how many companions you can keep during a run. But yeah. Oh, we also have an email. Welcome to Nightbook. Congratulations, Chief Beef. You found your way to our beautiful city where vampires and humans are forging a new union under both sun and stars. Remember, your amnesty is contingent upon adherence to the New Century Code, irrevocable. New converts find warm welcome and free blood at the Salvation Center in Cradlebridge Old Town. Welcome. Your new life begins tonight. Nightbook staff. All right. We can put that away. But yeah, it plays like a visual novel. If you've played a visual novel, it plays a lot like that. So everything you do in this game causes time to pass. So it's currently 2:38 in the morning. So everything we do here, we can actually skip the prologue if you want, but we'll do it. Last known address: another night, the same thirst. Rain pours down onto the naked city, as cold and oppressive as ever. The night is no longer quiet, and never still. Not since the veil fell, when the world learned that there were monsters living amongst them. Monsters like you, no longer protected by the shadows. So, knock on Elijah Morrow's apartment door. This is the place, deep in the tenements of Cradlebridge. Now you can see that time went by a minute. No answer, not a surprise. While you hardly share your sire's anger towards Morrow for vanishing into the night, he has reason to be afraid. Traitors who lack the sense to look over their shoulder only have themselves to blame. So we can either force the door open, or we can attempt to pick the lock. So we could either do one of them. We can do either one of these. So we'll try to pick the lock. And I guess that green little halo means it was a success. The door easily gives way. Beyond the doorway, the apartment is empty. The fact that you can cross the threshold without an invitation is proof that nobody currently calls at home. Let's step into the apartment. Morrow's apartment is a temple to filth and decay. The foul smell of standing water hangs in the air, seeping out from the small bathroom towards the tiny bed and its bare mattress. Every mirror is broken, as is most of the furniture. So we observe that rain beats against the cracked windows. Damp has worked its way into every nook and crevice. There's a lot of reading here, but it's really well written. You close the door behind you, not bothering with the primitive lock. This is the last lead you have to Morrow's location, and the reason for your pursuit. So, we have three options here. A watch whose second hand no longer ticks, carefully engraved with a dead person's name. A gold ring, tarnished but important. A memory of a relationship that is no more. A locket with a broken clasp. It hides a face you refuse to forget. I guess we'll pick locket. It was not worth much, but it was yours. Why he took it, you do not know. An accident, a moment of cruelty, the order of your sire looking to remove any troublesome ties. That is something he can answer when you find him. It was the last remaining piece of your old life, the last reminder of sunlight, and a heart that still beat. It is, however, not here. The only real hope is that Morrow left in a hurry and didn't cover his tracks as well as he might have done. There is only one way to know for sure. So we can search for clues around the bed, search the desk, search the bathroom. We have no evidence to consider yet, so let's search the bed, I guess. The bed is a bare mattress atop a cracked wooden frame. There's a single pillow and a few unwashed bits of clothing that apparently served Morrow as a blanket while he was here. A coat, a pair of pants, an old pizza box lies next to them. Let's check the pizza box out. It is not the most encouraging of clues. An irritated rat squeals, angry to have been stirred from its impromptu bed amongst the cursed strands of mozzarella. Very nicely drawn rat there. We can either drop the pizza box in a hurry, or carefully put it down on the bed. We can put it back. The rat glowers as you close the pizza box back over its head and leave it to sleep. Let's search through the clothes. The pockets all appear to be empty until you get to a pair of old black slacks. Inside is a wallet, empty except for a few nickels, an organ donor card, and a long expired driver's license. Let's check the driver's license. The face of Elijah Morrow stares at you. Elijah Morrow, your sire's vassal, working in the sun so they could rule at night. The traitor. At least you now have a photograph to show people, instead of trying to describe a man with few distinguishing features except for the neck scars. Alright, let's look under the bed. So we found something. We found a driver's license. Aside from the dust, the only thing under the bed is a small shoebox. Inside, a pair of syringes, a spoon, a rubber tourniquet, and some needles. They look blunt, heavily reused. Let's step away from the bed. Search the desk. The desk is small and cramped, with a chair that wobbles on certain knee. uncertainly at the slightest touch. On it, a barely started letter reads simply, "Cynthia, please," and then trails off. The garbage bin next to it is full of equally aborted drafts. So let's check the drawers. You pull out the drawer, but unsurprisingly, it is indeed locked tight. Someone has even fixed the handle. Maybe we can find a key. Let's check the middle drawer. You open up the drawer. It is empty except for a few spare bits of paper, some pens and pencils, and a small spider that scuttles away in terror in the sudden light. Let's see the bottom drawer. You open the bottom drawer. There's nothing in it except for some wax and your sire's seal, the mark that told those in the know that Morrow was authorized to speak on their behalf. A somewhat antiquated sign of confidence, but not an uncommon one. Older vampires do tend to enjoy ceremony. Alright, let's go back to the top and let's try to force this. It allows us to do this with our intimidation skills. You grip the handle tight and pull. It offers little resistance. Inside the drawer, you see a small leather-bound book, Morrow's diary. It begins in his usual copperplate handwriting, but by the end has devolved into barely coherent scrawling. So let's flick to the last, through the rest of the diary. So the last entry was dated a week ago. I'm free, finally free, but I still feel it inside me. I have to cut it out, bleed it out. I won't go back. I won't lose myself again. So, let's put the diary back. Let's leave and search the bathroom. Bare, splintered wood underfoot. A cheap ceramic bath with barely enough room for an average-sized person to sit in. The hot water is disconnected. The state of the toilet in the corner is best left unmentioned, never mind actively investigated. So we can examine the bathtub, examine the state of the toilet. Open the medicine cabinet. Oh, we can't read the residual echoes of the room because we don't have corpse talking. I picked something else. Oh, gosh. Well. Oh, well. Let's check the medicine cabinet first. The cabinet is mostly empty. A bottle of cheap off-brand aspirin, an empty pack of iron supplements. Underneath that is a small metal key, too small for a door. The key to Morrow's desk, most likely. Seems there's a little point picking it up now. Oh, you could have found it in the bathroom, eh? All right, let's examine the toilet. Morrow did not, in fact, hide anything in the cistern, nor did he flush before he departed. You can flush it or leave the contents festering away. Let's flush it. Ugh. You lower the toilet lid and close the cistern, departing on a very slight moral high ground. That does not really matter much in the grand scheme of anything. Alright, let's examine the filthy bathtub. The yellowing bath is cramped and heavily stained in reddish brown. Blood. If a vampire knows anything by sight, it's blood. The stain is old now and has worked itself in deep. We can't do anything because we don't have corpse talking, so let's leave. You step away from the bathroom. You have not needed to use one in many months. Tonight is not going to be the exception. Consider the evidence you've discovered. Let's put the pieces together. This was definitely where Morrow ended up after shirking his mission in this miserable city and severing all contact with the warrior. While here, he tried to bleed himself dry of his master's blood. His influence. Does that work? Vampiric vassals are typically too subordinate to their lords to even try. But is not the same the same is not of their true heirs. Your business in the city is not to recover Morrow. Ancient instincts prickle. You are not alone. Behind you, a breath of defiant fear, defying not just your presence, but the ever-crawling urge to get away from it as quickly as possible. You turn, hands raised in readiness. An open palm can so easily become a claw. Oh, someone's in the room with us.
What do you think you're doing in here? We're sick of you damn cold-bloods acting like you own the place. Dead is dead.
Command her to drop the gun. You have sufficient blood to use your gift. Alright. Let's see. You fix the old woman with your hypnotic gaze. The effects don't last long, but they usually last long enough. She drops the gun to the ground without even apparently realizing it, still holding up her hands as if ready to shoot. The warmth of her blood calls to you. How long has it been since you last fed? Uh-oh. Too long. Too many hungry nights, struggling with your thirst and the need to keep a low profile. But now it's close enough that you can almost smell it. Hear it pumping and pounding in her chest. Hot, alive, pure. Every instinct whispers to you to take it all, that nobody will ever know. Nobody will care. Well. We could drain the old woman dry, or resist our urges. I mean, we are a vampire. The old woman presses back in terror, whispering to a god who isn't listening. You grip her by the hair and sink your fangs deep into her neck. Blood surges up into your mouth, the only thing that even temporarily relieves the burning thirst that hangs around you with the familiarity of an old friend and the suffocating hug of a noose. Oh, man. Trait lost. Consensualist. Whoops. I'll never get that back. You've drunk from an unwilling victim. Oh. It's just a demo. It's fine. Alright, now that we've done it, put the body onto the bed. She's still alive if unconscious. Dump her body in the bathtub. No sense in getting blood everywhere. Leave her lying on the ground. She'll probably wake up to remember this. Put her body onto the bed. You carefully rest her body on the bed and brush your hands off on your clothes. A little lingering blood. Nothing unusual. Not even something that most people would notice these nights. You step back out onto the cold streets of Cradlebridge. The rain never seems to end in this place. The streets of Cradlebridge. Cradlebridge, the dead market district of a dying city, the perfect place to stash those vampires unable to claw their way up from the gutter. A place where vampires can gain amnesty for any and all past crimes, in exchange for a pinky promise to keep their instincts in check henceforth. Home, at least until your business here is concluded. You know, I gotta say, even for a demo, the writing's really well done. Like, I mean, demo or not, it's got a hook, and I'm really, even though I'm still not really sure with a couple of things, the overarching story is pretty interesting so far. And yeah, if only vampires had nothing to fear at night. I would say if I did, when the full version does come out, and if I choose to stream it, this would be a nightmare to narrate. The new face of the night. Oh, listen to that music change. Let's put the volume down just a bit so it doesn't override my voice. But yeah. Two figures in leather watch from the depths of an alleyway. They see you walking alone. They see that even in the cold of night, your breath leaves no clouds. You pass, trying to avoid eye contact. It has been many days since you fed properly. The old woman's weak blood barely even scratched the surface of your thirst. The pair recognizes your weakness even at a distance. They produce something from their pockets. Oh, what do they produce? Their steps match yours as they put on their masks. Cheap, featureless party masks sprayed white. Originally a sop to anonymity, now a symbol of defiance against vampires sharing the streets with the still living. Trouble. So you can choose to face them directly, or you can try to run. Let's face them. We're a warrior. We can win this. Come on. How bad could this possibly be? And this is not my health. This is just not hunger, I guess. It's our hunger level, I guess. It'll be fine. We're a fighter. We can do this. You turn, and just for a moment, the pair takes a step backwards. The moment doesn't last. You can sense their anticipation as they produce their weapons, and step forward to do their part in keeping the streets safe for people who bleed like them. Prepare to defend yourself. This fight is likely to be a challenge. Oh, come on. Okay. Your spirit takes the pair by surprise. Most vampires around here are starved, feeble creatures, unable to put up a fight. Finding themselves outmatched, they quickly flee. It looks like it auto-resolved the combat, so that's good. I don't need to worry about that, but... were there dice rolls involved? I'm not really sure if there were dice rolls, what was involved in the auto-resolve. And in the future, what... how will it... how will it... Like, it said it was challenging, but it looked like nothing happened. I got no damage, as far as I can tell. Yeah. I think... Maybe if it showed the rolls, maybe? On whether or not you had like a good hit or a miss. That would be good, maybe? I don't know. Anyways. You sit down and catch your breath, so to speak. An old habit, and one that you have not yet given up. With a few deep breaths, you bring the pain under control. That battle took more out of you than it should have done. You need fresh blood. You need answers. Most of all, you need to get out of this city before it swallows you up. For now, the only path leads you back to your sanctuary. Let's do, I think F5 is quick save. So yeah, you can see a notification on the phone, quick save. So yeah, let's head back to your sanctuary. Act 1, The King of Cradlebridge. The Halcyon Hotel. It is Tuesday and it is sundown. We got a notification on our phone. You came... Clash of Symbols. You came to the city in the hope of a fresh start and the last connection you have to your previous life. But found only poverty, intolerance, and hunger. Now you sit in your cheap hotel room with little obvious future. Wow, music is good. Another poopy night. The rusted metal of your bed creaks underneath you, its mattress damp and encrusted with ancient patches of blood, sweat, and semen. The last stinging memories of the day's bad dreams fade into the increasingly familiar drip, drip, drip of a waking nightmare lit by a cheap flickering bulb. Reluctantly, you crawl out of your bed. The bare floor is cheap wood, spiked with splinters. Alright, we'll crawl out. Everything aches. Everything is cold. Your blood stirs stagnant in your veins, no longer at the whim of a beating heart. You pull yourself to your feet and take a moment to lick at your still unfamiliar fangs. Let's I mean, is there any point in checking the mirror? But we'll check it. You wipe the dust from the mirror. No reflection. Of course. But the empty frame staring back through you is still discomforting. Perhaps for the moment, however, that is for the best. We'll open the bedroom drawer. Across the top, a Gideon Bible stings at your eyes, burning like chili peppers. Unable to bring yourself to touch it, you shut the drawer tight. The pain slowly fades, though the scorched after image lingers considerably longer. Alright, finally, let's peer out the window. You fix the planks back into position and look down at the street below. It is quiet, but not the peaceful, relaxing kind. It is the quiet of a place where everyone minds their own business because they don't really want to get caught up in anyone else's. Alright, well, very descriptive. Let us wash our face in the sink. 8 years ago, the world changed forever. You came to the city in the hope of finding a place where your new nature would be accepted. Instead, you found little but suspicion, fear, and poverty. But everything changes in time. Outcasts rise. Okay, so this is before we returned. Okay. And now you can call yourself immortal. You have all the time in the world. So a little tutorial buddy here is like telling us it's a new act. Each one you'll have some big thing to do and a whole lot of options to explore by the end of the month. Don't worry, you'll have plenty of time to get stuff done. So I guess we look at the phone to see what date it is. Oh, it's September 2nd. Okay. Act 1, The King of Cradle Bridge, 12 days of rent remaining. Oh, yes, so we need money. Okay, we're gonna need money as well. Yeah, we're broke. We have no money. Okay. Did I read this? A cheap hotel room in one of the most impoverished, dangerous parts of the city. The windows are barely boarded up enough to keep the sun from your skin, and the room's heater struggles to even take the edge off the rising damp. Home. For now. So we can equip items from our wardrobe. Let's take a look. Do we have anything? You open up your wardrobe to pick suitable equipment for tonight's adventure. Since the veil came down, it is rare to see people around here not packing some kind of weapon for personal safety. It's not always legal. It's still considered common sense. It changes one of my outfits, I guess. We have charity shop rags, or we can just continue wearing our outfit, or we can remove all our clothes. You consider your choices. Outfits can increase your confidence, boosting your skills as well as offer protection. They do not otherwise define you, just your taste in modern fashion. We'll just wear a current outfit. I have no weapons, armor, or anything. So we'll just leave, and we'll leave Sanctuary. Or leave our Sanctuary. A large figure sits on a chair outside your hotel room, arms folded and eyes fixed on your door. She stands to greet you, not extending a hand, and no warmth in her expression.
Huh. So it's true. Name's Saoirse. Kinda the closest to a welcome wagon you're getting. Knew your sire, and figured I'd check in. See how you were settling in.
So we made a new contact, Saoirse Kane. Old school enforcer for hire. When Saoirse first stepped into the fighting pits of Ireland, many laughed. The laughter quickly stopped. In life, she was a formidable pit fighter. In death, few can match her in a brawl. After years of working as a mercenary for criminals and other shadowy forces, she was put on retainer by the New Century Commission to help deal with more troublesome vampires. So Saoirse keeps to herself but meets new clients at the Last Nickel Diner in Cradlebridge in Old Town. Right? How did she know your sire?
Oh, we've tussled. Let's just say there's parts of this world where dropping that name makes the toughest folks piss themselves. And they're the ones who don't know the worst stories.
Why would she expect trouble? From me? Trouble from me? I'm a good person. You didn't see me drink that old lady's blood, did you?
You sure you're the warrior's heir?
Yeah. What's my verdict?
Guess there's only one way to find out. Come on, let's see what you got. Don't worry. Won't hurt you too bad. Until someone's paying.
Just adjusting the volume slightly. There we go. You happily show her what you've got. You don't want to fight her. Now let's fight her.
Good. Then let's get this thing done.
Alright, so adopt your best fighting stance. So this is again another challenge. Saoirse Kane's fists are as brutal as they look. By the time she's finished, your bruises have bruises. You manage to hold your own, however, and by the end, her eyes hold a measure of grudging respect.
So, there's some fight in you at least. Come on. Reckon you look like you could use a meal.
So Saoirse has gained some respect for us. Oh, that's cool. I think if you go to the options, you can actually increase the delay if you want more time to like read through stuff. So we'll increase that slightly. And close settings. And how can you get better at fighting?
Same as everything. Practice. Take your lumps. Not much can deal you out for good. That what can, try not to get in the way of. Fire, silver, anything like that. Just don't be stupid.
Where did she learn to fight like this?
These scars. Old school, one by one. Earned them all the old-fashioned way. Snarling, bare-chested, and covered in sweat and blood back in the fighting pits of Dublin. Nothing better for teaching the beast inside you how to roar.
You fought bare-chested? Huh.
Can't go being a blushing damsel when you've 50 drunk bastards on all sides, all betting their weak salt on how many teeth you'll be leaving behind on the sand.
She doesn't fight shirtless here, though. Alright.
Don't go getting any funny ideas. Been years since I had a fight worth taking half that serious. Besides, chilly as hell in this burg. You keep your vest on, and I'll keep mine.
And if I'm looking for a real fight, what are my options here?
Well, you just look around a bit. Maybe try over an angel breach for starters. Bit of a walk, mind, if you've not got the scratch for a taxi.
Okay. So if I want to head there to do some fighting, maybe will we get loot from fights? I wonder how the combat works. She mentioned helping you find a meal.
Right you are. Won't say it's exactly haute cuisine, but let's just leave it there. Come on, let's head down to the Salvation Center in Old Town before you pass out on me.
Okay, so this is our companion. They help you out and just plain keep you company. You can swap him out back in your sanctuary. So we got a party member. Cool. So yeah, I think this is augmenting my brawler strats. This is pretty cool. All right, so we got a bit of a brawler buff, a bit of an intimidation buff, a mechanic increase, and finally domination. All right. I'm still wearing charity shop rags. A simple soiled pair of jeans and unmatched shirt, perfect for blending in with the downtrodden masses. What it lacks in style, it makes up for in previous owners. Oh. But it's washed, right? If it's washed, it's fine. Alright, let's leave. Let's go to the lobby. The elevator is cramped, rickety, and so thick with competing odors that they almost cancel each other out. A slight mercy. Oh man, there's so much good dialogue here. Oh, got a message. Monica Vale. At Veil of Darkness. Oh, very nice. We haven't met. We probably won't. Try to keep it that way. My name is Monica Vale, but you can call me God if you like. It's my job to keep a lid on the ghastly little messes our kind is prone to making. So, a warning to get us on the same page here. Be boring or be smart. Land on my poop list and we'll have trouble. Specifically, I will, then you will, and then I will not. Kindly take this for the threat that it is. Whips and kisses, MV. I mean, that's very threatening, but this music is fantastic. Wow. Alright. This music hits hard. We can head over to the front desk if we want. Rooms for rent. The Halcyon is a fine old building, now long past its prime. The paint is peeled, and every surface sticky. The rat droppings trodden into the carpets and slithering cockroaches behind the wallpaper say more of the place's standards than any review. Alright, we'll just go to the front desk. The clerk yawns as you approach, barely even bothering to look up. The smell that hangs around him isn't tobacco. So we could look at the resident list if you want. I guess I'll quick save this before we do this. Let's take a look. The book is upside down and written in what can only with the greatest of generosity be considered legible handwriting. Most of the names are meaningless to you. Your own is marked as being on the third floor, with a prominent V symbol scribbled next to it. What does the kid say? This music slaps? Good God. Alright. Let's go in order here. Sophia Sterling. Sophia Sterling is the latest name to be written next to room 16, atop many other hastily crossed out names. You have never visited it, but there are often rather eagle-looking gentlemen waiting outside, checking their watches with some urgency. We also have Domino Quick. The name is slightly faded. Whoever Domino Quick is, he or she have clearly been here before. Been here for a while. There are no other details in the book. And finally, me. Ah, yes, that would be you. You glance down to check that you are still there. It appears that you are. Let's give the clerk the book back. It is $7.50. Let us ask about the hotel. The clerk gives you an expression that suggests that all of the words people have used to describe this particular slice of heaven, estimable is not one of them. But the Halcyon Hotel certainly had its golden age once. But these nights, the basic rule is not to complain about the cockroaches because they've been polite enough not to complain about you. Alright, let's take a look away from the desk and let's head outside. Rain capital of the world, this sodding place. You step from the damp warmth of the Halcyon into the streets of Cradlebridge, where light is swallowed by the darkness, and few dare venture without good cause. Old Town is not far, and seems like the best place to begin your search for Morrow, but your thirst burns, and will not be left unsatiated for long. The art so far is really good. I love the rain effects. Puddles, oh, so good. It's the little things that make it more immersive. The light going out is also a nice touch. Very nice. Alright. Shershi. Wait, yeah. That's how you say her name, right? Oh no, I forgot how to say the name. Stamps off into the distance without a thought. She clearly has plans for tonight. Oh, time skipping. Thirsty and destitute, hungry eyes watch you as you enter the Salvation Center, a threadbare boxing gym reluctantly handed over to the undead community by the city council.
Been helping out here, showing newbies how to defend themselves. Come see me if you want to practice any. Could do with a proper scrap.
Cersei, head nod to the volunteers. She leads you to the back table. A large bowl of blood sits on it. The volunteer behind the table ladles a not particularly generous amount of blood into a chip bowl. It's diluted to the point of transparency, and barely even tickles the thirst in your soul. You struggle to force it down. It's better than nothing, but only just.
Commission over in Fountain Court's trying for better, but it's tough enough getting folks to donate blood for the human sick. Never mind the thirsty dead. Anyways, best get back to it.
She drinks her blood straight from the bowl. A fresh few drops join the stains on her tank top. Hungry eyes watch as you enter the Salvation Center, a threadbare boxing gym reluctantly handed over to the undead community by the city council. Volunteers splash highly watered-down blood into the bowls for the ever-increasing homeless vampire population. It is an unsatisfying broth, barely enough to take the edge off desperation. Alas, it is also the extent of the city's charity. We could talk to the administrator, or we could head back to the street. Let's talk to her. The tired-looking woman with the lab coat and clipboard looks up at your approach. She has the slightly terse buzz of a coffee addict, finding that there is only so much of it that you can drink before sleep demands its toll. Her badge reads, Irene Velasco.
If you're here to donate blood, please inquire at the free clinic. Oh, wait. I see. Not a donor, are we? Well, I just hope you're not hoping for a bed.
So we got a new contact, Dr. Irene Velasco. So, I'll pause on that for a bit so you can read that. You can pause the video if you'd like to read more. Alright. Am I here for a bed? No. I'm not looking for a handout.
How admirable. Far too many come to this city thinking that the streets are paved with gold and the blood flows from every faucet.
Let's ask her if she's seen Morrow.
Yes, I know this man. He called himself Elliot Morgan, but that's definitely him. A strange one. He claimed to be here to volunteer, but spent most of his time bothering our guests.
Interesting. What did he want?
I assumed that it was a sex thing, to be honest. He said something about needing a new master. Frankly, he was creeping out both our human and revenant guests with it all, so we told him his services wouldn't be required.
Any idea where he is now?
I'm afraid not, but I did see a number of scars on his arm that I'd swear were needle marks. If I had to guess, I'd suggest the shooting gallery at St. Raphael's. Most addicts end up there.
So we got a new location, St. Raphael's Hospital. I can't click on that. Target shooting? Not target shooting. Oh, no, it's not target shooting.
The other kind of shooting. Needles, veins.
All right, the diary's been updated on the trail of Elijah Morrow. We can ask her some more questions if we want. Velasco rarely switches into extra professionalism of an expert offering their opinion on their specialist subject. We want.
I'm an oncologist at New City General with a subspecialty in hematology. I never thought I'd be using it for anything like this.
What about the blood?
I don't think anyone knows why blood has the effect that it does upon vampire physiology. It complicates matters that animal blood cannot be used as a substitute. Only human blood suffices, and I shudder to think where it will be sourced if demand becomes any higher.
Where indeed?
I'm an oncologist at New City General with a subspecialty.
Oh, I already asked that. Let's ask about Cradlebridge.
Cradlebridge is a place in need of help it will not get from our elected officials. I do what I can, but it will never be enough. Not without support that can be touched and spent.
We could ask more questions, but time is going, so let's continue seeing what else this demo has. That's enough questions. Let's head back to the street. We can't line up for more blood. We only get one per day. Most dead bastards without money end up here if they're lucky. It just so happens I have no money. The wrong side of the tracks. A once prosperous marketplace now abandoned by even most of its drug dealers. The air hangs heavy with the smell of rotting brick and overflowing sewers. Beggars shake tins at passers-by, hoping to scrounge coin for a bed or a bottle to keep them warm through the night. The few locals forced out of this late push past irritably, eyes sallow and fixed on their own problems. A handsome young man makes eye contact. He's handing out thin purple flyers. The man has the look of a model and the apparent intelligence of a model train. He enthusiastically pushes a purple piece of paper into your hand, advertising a nearby club. It doesn't look particularly promising, and it's not like you can afford much in the way of a night out anyway. Still, you take it, just in case. So a new location has been available. Nighthawks! Huh! Is that the name of the game? The handsome man hurries off to another customer. You politely dispose of the flyer in the nearest bin. Alright, so we could go to the Last Nickel Diner, go to the Salvation Center, head to the Rose at Midnight, or return to the streets. I have no money, so there's no point in going to a diner, I guess. That's where we came from. Head to the Rose at Midnight. What's this? You approach the store, but discover that it is closed tonight. The window has been broken with a brick and hastily boarded up. Anti-vampire graffiti has already been plastered across it, including the ever-popular warning, "Dead is dead." Strong words, despite the fact that Rose's clientele are primarily humans who simply enjoy exploring a gothic aesthetic. Right, so this place isn't even open. Let's go to the streets. Or let's save. Hit F5. And let's go to the streets. And here we got a map. Can I zoom in and out? No. Can I WSAD this? No. Alright, I guess it's one single map. 4 minutes. Oh, okay. So we could go, where are we now? We're here. The "you are here" might be a good indicator of where we are. So we could go to the Halcyon Hotel 12 minutes. St. Raphael's 20. The Bricks 12. Free clinic. Let us go to Nighthawks. A rundown nightclub near the edge of town. It looks seedy and poorly maintained, but still has a decent line of people waiting to get in or simply seeking shelter from the rain. An irritable bouncer lets them in at a slow but steady drip, checking for drugs and frequently pocketing small bribes from queue jumpers. You can stand in line. hypnotize the bouncer. I lack the blood to do this. I can bribe the bouncer, or attempt to sneak in around the back. Your thief skills are an even match for this. Can I try sneaking past them? Oh, I can't quick save. Oh. Oh, let's just stand in line. You reach the front of the line. The bouncer looks you up and down suspiciously, clearly not a fan of vampires. He gestures for you to spread your arms, ready to be patted down. As he finishes checking you, Cersei shrugs, but makes no movement to spread her arms.
Don't you even think about it, warm blood.
So the delay is a bit longer, but that's fine. You walk into the pumping music of the nightclub. The smell of sweat and aftershave hits you in the face. Oh, the music transition. That's nice. From outside the building to inside, you can hear it more clearly. That's nice, that's nice. Nighthawks. Your feet stick to the carpet. Although this nightclub seems one of the few hotspots of Cradlebridge life, it can only be because of a lack of competition. The dance floor lightly throbs with action, while the bar seems quiet enough to have a conversation. A bored-looking redhead alternates between serving drinks and flicking through a paperback book hidden underneath the counter. So, we can visit the bar, head up to the VIP lounge. I'm gonna assume I can't do that. Or leave. We'll go visit the bar. Oh, we can talk to Saoirse. Or talk to the bartender.
Hey, stranger. I'm Becca. What'll it be? Beer, whiskey, a little champagne to get the night started, right? Wait, sorry. My bad. The special wine, yeah?
That voice sounds very familiar. That sounds very familiar. So we made a new contact, Becca Glade. We'll hold on that image if you want to read it. You can pause the video if you like. I don't have it. I don't have the money. Should I try seducing? It's red. It's not gonna work. I also can't hypnotize her. Oh man, what's the point of having this ability when I don't have the blood? Decline it.
Running a bit short, huh? Look, have this one on the house. Call it the welcome wagon.
Where have I heard her voice from? Is this the voice actress who did Kathy Rain? Sounds very familiar. She shakes a small red bottle. Your throat burns with a perpetual thirst. Oh, look at that. Rebecca pours you a fresh, warm blood, thick, red, and heavily watered down by vodka that no longer has any effect on you, but adds a little kick to the otherwise flat, metallic experience. Finish your blood. Always thirsty these days.
So, not to be nosy or anything, but what's it like? Drinking blood, I mean.
We could either say we enjoy the taste, we don't enjoy the taste, or we have no real opinion. Don't like it.
Yeah, lots of folks say that. Most of our regulars like to mix in a little cinnamon. Something about handling the iron aftertaste. Anyway.
Chat with Becca, ask her about your current investigations, or show her Moore's driver's license, recent rumors. Let's first get to know her before we start deep diving. Becca gives a glass a special treatment, spitting in it twice before wiping it out. Ugh. Okay.
Me? I'm Rebecca. Becca to friends. Becky, if you want me to hurt you. Just your average ex-student buried in debt. Luckily, the boss's shiny fangs tend to scare off new staff pretty quick, so yeah, plenty of extra shifts for Becca.
All right, at least you're getting paid. What about Nighthawks? What do you think about Nighthawks?
For Cradlebridge, it's a pretty high-class kind of dive. Don't need a big metal grill in front of the bar. We've got a few regulars drink here by choice, and it's probably only one of them that keeps shitting in the sink. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll even get uniforms that fit.
Maybe. What do you think about vampires?
Oh, I see plenty. Don't worry, I'm cool with it. I mean, I always kind of suspected you folks were around, even before everyone knew for real. Most of the revs I know are okay, just like most folks really. But the others, hey, that's why I've got a pepper spray loaded with silver.
Oh, that works, eh? Alright, nothing else. Let's ask about our current investigations. Becca reaches for a dirty glass and wipes it out while you consider your notes. Searching for Elijah Morrow. The search for Elijah Morrow brought you to the city. Now it threatens to drag you deep into the depths from which few return. What about finding him?
I don't know the name. I mean, I can ask around a bit, but people go missing around here quite a lot. Have you asked around Old Town? That's where most folks end up.
Alright, nothing else. Show the license.
Sorry, I don't know the face. My bet? Try down in Old Town. Folks who get lost around here usually end up there. The lucky ones, anyway.
Any rumors?
Heard a few folks talking about some guy called Dr. Finch over at St. Raphael's who specializes in treating vampires. Thing is, St. Raphael's burned down a few years ago.
Interesting. That's enough. Let's go. Let's talk to Saoirse. What about our current investigation? Saoirse cracks her knuckles irritably, not enjoying standing around and waiting. Huh.
Heard the king over at Nighthawks muttering about him a fair bit. Don't know why. Don't reckon I care too much either.
The king? Is that the guy who owns this place? Is he in the VIP area? Get to know her better, I guess.
Commission's a bunch of fancy buggers thinking they talk for all cold bloods, like we're some happy family or something. Not my problem. Not unless someone's paying me to care. They got these fists on retainer for when vamps can't keep their fangs to themselves.
I just realized I didn't say I was going to pick the commission's option. What about herself?
Everyone's got a story. Mine's nothing special. Way back, got in a few pub fights in the old country. Found I was pretty good at it. Well, weren't interested in taking no husband, so took myself down to Dublin to try my luck down in the fight pits. When death finally came to collect, I reckon I knocked his tits off.
Okay. No one else here. We'll exit. Can I save here? No. Cannot save here. Head to the VIP lounge. I kind of want to see some combat. Some additional combat. Maybe I'll get into a fight here. Ducking under the velvet rope, you slip into the VIP lounge. It isn't much more luxurious than the rest of the club, with its musty old cushion and desperately outdated decor. Someone has at least dusted the place, though. A clubber is here, dancing. Seize the opportunity to feed. There's nobody here to stop you, it seems. That does not seem like a good idea. Back to the bar and just leave. You're heading towards the main door when two large figures detach themselves from the shadows to block your way. They don't seem hostile, just firm, as they point back towards the club's main office. The king wants to see you. Come with us. Follow them back into the club. This is not a good place to cause a scene. Alright. The court of the king. The dance music fades as you are led down concrete steps into the basement, where a single bare bulb lights little but rusting nightclub equipment and no shortage of black mold in damp corners. There, you are led into an office without windows, where a fat vampire sits smoking an even fatter cigar and flicking through a positively obese roll of money. He gestures for you to be seated. The one on your right helps you with a shove.
This the one? Let me guess. You're new around here. Gotta be poking around without even coming to introduce yourself. What's the world coming to, huh?
I thought we'd been here for 8 years. Alright. Okay. Thought we came here 8 years ago to the city. Introduce yourself politely.
Well, Well, you look at that. Finally, a baby vampire with a sense of propriety.
You always gotta be polite. The fat vampire takes a long chew on his cigar. He gives you a careful look up and down. Sam Tancredi, the king of Cradlebridge, pours himself a whiskey glass of blood from a crystal decanter, not offering you one. He sips it and sits back.
Listen to me, baby vampire. Name's Tancredi. And this here is my territory. Mine. You'll remember that if you want to keep feeding here. There's worse shit than death. Trust me on that one. Now, before we go any further, gotta ask, got any special tricks?
Sam Tancredi. Here's a bio on him. Pause that if you want. And we could either confess to knowing mesmerism or deny knowledge of any powers. I assume every vampire has something. So this is probably not going to work. So let's just confess and see what happens.
Ha, now that's a thing. Of course, I don't need to remind you. Stuff like that, it's just a fantasy for the papers. Don't make it anything more.
Tancredi grunts, apparently satisfied. You doubt he will confess to any of his own special tricks.
Anyways, from what I hear, you've been poking your nose around this last week or so. Let's have it then. What's your business in my kingdom? Think very carefully before you try any bullshit.
Well, we have only one option. To tell him about Elijah Morrow.
Morrow, huh? Dangerous name to be dropping around here, baby vampire. Whole lot of people are looking for that piece of shit, including yours truly. Big reward on that head. Real big.
So, we just need to talk to him? Or do we have business with him? Or do you plan to hurt him badly? Huh. Well, he did betray our sire, so...
Well, you better be ready to join the line. Speaking of, Gideon, get this cold-blood a pass. No sense having him waste time with the plebes when there's so much work to get done.
You don't work for him. A pass? No sense of having him waste time with the plebes? Okay.
Indeed, many people believe that at first. They soon learn to dread the coming of winter and the chill of bones that never healed properly. Yes, you think yourself invulnerable as well as immortal. Spare me the naive bravado.
Gideon gestures for you to follow him back upstairs. It appears your audience with the king is over. The halls of Nighthawks. You are led upstairs through a small maze of unpainted concrete corridors and chipped wooden doors to a rather smaller office upstairs. It smells of dust and cheap cologne. An ancient computer on the desk. It's cheap gray plastic, long-turned nicotine yellow. The manager takes his seat. He looks over you, not looking impressed.
Right. This pass will get you past the queues. Don't lose it. I am Gideon Jenks, the King's Seneschal. I handle his business, including the tribute expected for hunting within the domain. You will, of course, be expected to pay, through service, if needed.
Bit of a text to voice acting misalignment here. That's fine. New contact, Gideon Jenks. What's his deal? Alright. Close that. What does Tancredi want from me? Or you? You? Jenks? Really?
Ah, the correct question. Splendid. Nothing too onerous, I assure you. A little contribution to the greater good in exchange for, let us call it, protection from misfortune. Insurance.
He wants me to pay money? I'm broke. What am I supposed to pay with? Oh boy. You know what? I don't want to know the answer if I'm broke.
I am aware that the king is most eager to find the gentleman in question. The reasons are not I would suggest any of your concern.
Something scuttles across Gideon's desk, a spider peeking up from underneath. The spider is large, black, and fearless. Gideon stops scribbling in his ledger for a moment. His eyes flick down and a bead of sweat rolls down his forehead. It scuttles over his hand, its 8 hairy legs brushing against his skin. He sits stock still, staring at it. Something glistens against his chin. Saliva, slowly drooling. Gideon's eyes stare at the spider. His right hand trembles slightly at it. What's gonna happen? Before you can do anything, Gideon's hand shoots out, scooping up the spider and cramming it into his mouth. He swallows it whole and shivers in what could be revulsion, but it looks more like a junkie getting their fix. The clock at the back of his office ticks, marking the awkward silence. With trembling hands, he reaches for a cup of coffee, not just cold, but with a skin on it. What the hell was that? What the poop was that? What the bleep was that? Let's go for the PG. Gideon is silent for a moment. He checks that the door is closed and locks it before returning it to his desk. There, he takes a long moment to study your face before speaking any further.
I suppose there's no hiding it. They call it the Renfield compulsion, a side effect of... suffice to say that the king and I have a certain arrangement that I would keep private.
He's a vassal?
One of the more polite terms, unfortunately. I trust I can rely on your discretion.
So what do I get out of keeping this quiet? Alright, fine, keep it quiet. I mean, what could I get out of it? I don't got much to work with here. We'll just keep it quiet, whatever. Gideon looks relieved, and not without cause. Thralls, vassals, familiars, swiggers, blood chuggers, traitors. There are no good names for humans who transfuse vampire blood into their veins.
I suppose, in the circumstances, perhaps we can shelve the question of our tax tribute. For now, provided that a new understanding continues, of course.
Oh, look at that. He promised to keep his secret, and he's decided to delay the eventual tax that we've got to pay. Oh, look at that. He buries his head in his ledgers. You leave him to his dark secret. Alright, we shall leave now. You leave the club and check your phone. Vampires have to be very careful to keep their eye on the time. And tonight it feels like you have been out long enough not to push your luck further. Call a cab. I have no money. What am I supposed to pay with? What? But I'm a vampire. How is it dangerous to be out at night? Isn't this my time to shine? Okay. I guess there's only one option. I guess we'll call a cab. I don't know what I'm paying with. Rain beats down on the windscreen as the taxi threads its way back to the Halcyon Hotel and what currently passes for home. You stare out of the window as the city blurs past, reflecting on the night and the many nights ahead of you. It's a new world out there, filled with stories, dangers, and opportunities. A new world where outcasts can thrive, and where death truly is just the beginning. But that will have to wait just a little bit longer. Sunrise approaches, and your cheap hotel bed calls your name. Oh, I hit the end of the demo. Oh, the journey home. Thank you for playing the Nighthawks demo. We hope you enjoyed your brief trip to the city, and that we'll be seeing you again for the full adventure. Wishlist us on Steam, follow us on your social network of choice, and perhaps consider starting over again with a different sire choice. You'll never know who might be waiting to greet you, and you can skip the prologue chapter next time. So that's it. I guess that's the end of the demo. I was wondering why there was a cab when I was broke. Very confused by that. Okay, but that was cool. That was our look at Nighthawks. Overall, I am really looking forward to this, and I'm not saying that just as a Kickstarter backer. I am actually really looking forward to this. I only kickstarted it because of Wadjet Eye's name being associated with it. They make some really great adventure games, and this is definitely not. This is something I don't usually play. I don't really play visual novel type games, but this is pretty awesome. The music is fantastic. The art style is very nice. Interface very easy to understand. It being a visual novel, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to the release product when it comes out. As far as I know, there's no set release date. I guess it's more of a when it's done type of deal. But, you know, it's been in development for a while. And if this is what we're getting, we're really looking forward to the finished product. But there you go. That's Nighthawks. I'll have a link to the game in the description below if you want to try the demo yourself and try out different pads. I usually stream on Twitch. If you want to catch one of my streams, I usually stream older content at twitch.tv/DrCDCS. And yeah, I tend to stick in the retro channel. I'll play older games. And this YouTube channel is a way for me to play newer content. So it's been really fun so far. It's been a really big learning experience. Yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one. Until next time, take care, and bye.